What age you started playing basketball?
Started playing basketball when I was 8 years old.
Okay. What made you start playing basketball?
Actually, I started playing basketball because of my sister. My sister was playing sports, and I kind of like followed her.
Okay. Did you struggle learning it?
At first, I did because I didn't understand certain parts of the game. It wasn't until I started playing in a CYO league that I started to understand the full concept of the game.
Okay. Who helped you? Your sister, right?
Yes.
How did she help you?
She showed me some parts of the game, but then as I went from grammar school to high school, I had different coaches that showed me different things.
Okay. Who was your favorite basketball players in college?
I have a lot of guys. I liked it. Mark Jackson, David Russell, mostly the guys from St. John's. I followed a lot.
And what was so special about Mark Jackson?
Mark Jackson, to me, wasn't a great athletic point guard. He just knew how to get the ball to the right people, and that's what I watched. I just wanted to find people who knew how to play the game and play it correctly.
Okay. And what was the other gentleman's name?
David Russell,
What was David Russell's?
he was a 6'8" swingman forward that put points on the board when he needed to put points on the board, and he could do it at a lot of times. He would just score at will.
Okay. What is the difference between the new NBA and the old NBA?
The new NBA is more guard oriented. It's basically built for guards. The old NBA was about the big man, the physicality. That's the game I miss. I don't. This new style of game is good for guys who want to play up and down, up and down, up and down. I prefer the old style, and that was suited for guys who knew how to play and had the fundamentals to play. It's more like one-on-one. That's it.
How about who was your favorite players in the NBA?
And if you're going by era, like from the 70s to the 80s, I watched different teams. I grew up on Lou Alcindor, actually now Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I like Jack Sigma. I follow people that had low post game. I like Adrian Dantley. I like DeMarc Aguirre. My favorite player of all time is Bernard King. From the 90s till up to 2000, I was a big Magic Johnson fan. I didn't like Larry Bird, but I respected his game. Same thing with Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish. I followed guys that knew the fundamentals of the game and played it. And they weren't very athletic, but knew how to play. That's
Okay.
what I followed.
Who's your Mount Rushmore of college players from your era that you like?
I would say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is one.
That's your center.
Right.
You two forwards.
Bernard King is one.
Okay.
The second one is, I could say Larry Bird.
Larry Bird.
The guard would be Pete Maravich. And the point guard would be I would probably say John Stockton.
Okay. In the NBA, what would be your Mount Rushmore?
Hakeem Messer. Barkley at the other forward, Larry Bird at the other forward, Magic at the point. I had to go Michael Jordan at the off guard.
Okay. How do you feel about Brooklyn getting a basketball team?
So it was a good thing. Since Jersey could not keep their team in Jersey, Brooklyn happened to be the next good spot for them. I agree with it.
So you think it's a good rivalry between the Nets and Knicks?
I don't think it's a rivalry yet. I think it's going to be more as time goes down. If Brooklyn and New York stay competitive-wise, then I see the rivalry coming.
Okay. Do you feel that a lot of kids at this time, how they got Division 1, 2, 3 in junior college, do you feel they should be just one division and everybody try out for their schools, or still stay the same way?
I still think there's guys who are definitely Division 1 players. There's guys that could be Division 1 but not making it, so Division 2 would be their best bet. And there are guys who just are good but just are not on that level. So Division 3 should be still the same thing. So I don't think they should get rid of that. I think they should keep that. I just think that personally, I think it bases upon the person's ability, because some guys who are very good should be on Division 1 level.
Okay. You see, you got the NBA in the United States. You have the European League. You got the Asian League. Do you feel that each champion from each league should play at the end for a world championship title to see who's good? Because everything is changing. The level playing is changing. Now we see it in the Olympics that Spain has gone up, Yugoslavia. Do you feel that it's time to have a world champion, not a United States NBA, but a world champion besides the Olympics?
That would be interesting. I would like to see that. I don't know if the world is ready for that. I think that personally, it'll be something probably looking forward down the line. But for right now, most people think that the Olympics are the world championships.
Okay. In playground legends, they have different playgrounds here in New York City, outside the city, like in Chicago, LA, and all that. You will say that New York City, because you were born in New York City, that we are better than Philadelphia, Miami, LA, or you think that they should be the same thing, have a playground type of leagues, and then at the end they should fight like a Final Four type of thing.
They're starting to do that. They were doing this thing recently that they had the best playground teams from New York play against the best playground, Chicago, LA, so forth and so forth. So I think that's coming more evident than anything else. But as for street ground legends, I think New York has the most, because all the ones that you hear about are either play pro ball or you heard about from all across the nation. So for me, I would say that probably New York has the best legends.
Okay, you think name brand sneakers is damaging the game?
I just think that personally, there's no sneaker better than another sneaker. That's just how I feel. Because no sneaker is made here, and they all come across from overseas. And then when they get here, they jacked up the price, so the kids gotta pay $150 or more for a sneaker that's gonna last maybe 2 months, 3 months. It's not even worth it.
Okay. Whether you see basketball in the future, 5 years to 10 years?
For me personally, I like to see more European guys come over and playing college ball before they go play pro ball, because I think they would get a lot more out of playing college ball, our college ball, than by them going straight to the pros. Even though they play pro ball in their country, but when they play against some of the young kids coming up here, it'll give them a little bit of advantage, but also it will help some of our kids because our kids are so caught up watching the one-on-one game, not learning the focal team game. Because that's what's the most important. It's about team, not about the one individual player. I think if more of them come over and show us kids, especially our young guys, how the ability to shoot the basketball, to be able to hit free throws. Those are the areas that we struggle at right now. I think that's the most important thing right now, to get that back to where it was back when guys in the 60s and 70s played. That's what that was the fundamentals. You had to hit free throws and you had to be able to hit a jump shot. So until we do that, I don't know.
Can you give me the pros and cons of basketball, as in your experience?
The pros of basketball. One thing about playing basketball, it can get you a college scholarship. Good coaches will help you take your game to the next level, which could be the pros, if you're good enough. Even if you're not good enough, you still can get to that next level. You can be able to go take your skills to overseas and play. One thing about playing basketball, you can get seen. If you're good, you'll be seen. The bad thing about college basketball is that the kids don't get nothing out. The schools get more out of it than the kids do. Everyone says the education is this big thing. That's true. But if you are in a financial strapped family and financially you're not, and if you go to a school and the school basically provides you the college education, but if you take the school team to the championship and all the proceeds go back to the school, what do you get after you put all that hard work into it? So I think that right there is one bad flaw. I think that a lot of kids get screwed over. They go to one school promises them the world, come to find out it doesn't happen. So the kid gotta leave because he thought he was going to go to school and come to find out school doesn't even want him. So that's another thing that I found bad about school. I think some of the coaches in college they tell the kid one thing, shoot the kid's heads to the moon, and then when the kid finally realizes that it was just all talk, just for him to get to that school, and then the kid's like, what do I do now? I wasted a year, maybe even 2, that I can't get back. So what does he do? Has to transfer. Hopefully, when he transfers, he gets the opportunity to play. Sometimes it does happen, sometimes it doesn't happen. So another thing. But I hate when kids go to a school, they play a year, get hurt, have to waste a year or 2, and the kid and school tells them you lose your scholarship because you can't play. I think that's wrong. I think if the kid gets hurt while you're at that school, the school should take care of his education, regardless. And if the kid can play after he has surgery or whatever, he should be able to play. And if he isn't, still let him have the scholarship.
Do you think there's a difference between private Catholic school and public school basketball?
There's a big difference. Catholic schools can do a little bit more as for they have the proceeds to do a little bit more because certain public schools don't have a place where the kids can go and do weight training or have a coach that comes and says, listen, I need you to work on this. Most of the public schools, you have to do things on your own. And especially after the season's over with, at least with private schools, you have where kids can go have extra training or whatever after school's over, even into the summertime. The public schools, kids have to rely on AAU or have someone like a CYO to say, listen, come come to our gym and work out with us. A lot of kids don't have that. So if they're fortunate to have friends or big brothers or so that can like say, listen, you go ahead and work out. That's what public schools don't have. They don't have the money to do all that. Catholic schools do. And plus also, Catholic schools do a lot more traveling. If the team is good, the team can travel. Public schools, unless they get a name, they're not traveling.
What advice you give to kids about basketball? What they should look out if they want to give their life to basketball?
If they're going to give a life to basketball, they got to be able to understand that it's a game and that people are going to use you because of your ability. Now, the thing is, you got to decipher who is going to help you and who's out to harm you. Now, you have all these great college coaches saying, "Oh, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to take care of all of you," and when you hear all this, your ego goes up to the moon. But when you really look at it, you tell yourself, if I go to this school, what is this school going to offer me? And it shouldn't be just about basketball. It should be about life in general. That I'm going to go to this school, get an education, and then leave. And then fall back on it, just in case basketball doesn't pan out for me. I have something I can fall back on. And that's a lot of mistakes a lot of kids make because they don't think that basketball is basketball will take them everywhere. But little do they know, if basketball doesn't help them, what do they do then? And I kind of feel that a lot of kids have been brought up in this mentality, oh, basketball's going to take me here, basketball's going to take me there. And when it doesn't, what do? And that's why I will always advise kids now, have a plan B, have a plan C, just in case if things don't work out, you have something you can fall back on. Because in life, that's how life is. If you don't have if you don't have a plan, something goes wrong, what do you do then? Always have a plan A, B, and even C, maybe even a D to fall back on, because you never know. If you go back to the beginning of sports, you had guys who weren't the best physically gifted guys, but the guys that went out and played hard. Those guys were beyond most of what we're doing. I mean, as every decade gone, we've improved, gotten better, made the game a little bit better. The thing is, now you're adding something to make yourself better than all the players before and the ones coming now. So if you have to use that to make yourself a better ball player, then you don't deserve to be playing the sport. I just feel that personally, you've already been blessed to play a sport, so you should be happy to work on your craft, improve your craft, and get better. That's it. You don't need no foreign substance in you to make you better. It's not fair.
Okay, remember Roy Tarpley from the Mavericks? He was a great player, but when he got busted for drugs, you think it would have been better if he was never using that? His career would have been longer?
Some people use certain drugs to relax, take the pressure off of them, especially if they feel that they're under high scrutiny. I just think that personally, if you're a good athlete, let your game do the talking. You don't have to use a drug or any type of substance to better improve your game. You already know you're a good athlete. You already know you can do certain things. You shouldn't need anything else to help you to be a better ball player.
Hank Gathers in college, he was having, I think he had an oversized heart. You think if he would have used medicine, they would have banned him from the NCAA?
I don't know if they would have banned him because of his enlarged heart. I think they probably would have monitored him a lot closer because he was doing stuff even before they noticed that he had an enlarged heart. It wasn't until after that he collapsed on the court that they found that out. And trust me, if that hadn't happened, they never would have known that anyway.
Same thing with Reggie Lewis.
Sad thing. He's just another player that basically was a gifted ball player, but unfortunately he was stricken by a heart condition that caused him to shorten his career and end his career.
Len Bias?
That's a sad story. Gifted physique, gifted talent. I think he probably would have been better than Jordan. I just felt that because of friends, peer pressure, they tried to get him to do something that he should never have done because he was about to be probably the most talked about player to come out of college, and probably would have took a lot of pressure off Larry Bird, McHale, and Robert Parrish. They probably would have been another dynasty for another 2 or 3 more years.
You think if Michael Jordan or Charles Barkley or Dr. J would have been caught with drugs or any type of substance that, they helped them improve, would their legacies be blemished?
Yes. Any athlete that uses something to help better or to make them stronger or whatever, that's always going to tarnish their career because everybody's going to say, "Oh, he did this to get better. He did that to get better." So if any of the guys had ever got caught with doing that, they definitely would have been tarnished. They probably would. They probably would. I wouldn't think. They probably wouldn't have banned them, but they probably would have suspended them for a number of games.
Okay. What do you think about the WNBA? I mean, it's interesting. It's a different style of play for men, but how you feel about it?
It's about time. It's about time women get the props that they deserve. I mean, most of them go overseas and play and do well overseas. Why can't they do it here? I mean, to me personally, I would like to see them get even more exposure because a lot of them ladies can play. And to me, I rather watch them play because they do things the men don't do. That's play team basketball. The only team that does that right now is Golden State and San Antonio. That's it. Most of the women teams, they all play team ball, and I like that.
Cheryl Miller, how you feel about her game, her style, her legacy?
Her legacy will always be that she was the first dominant female ball player. She pretty much took female basketball to a new level. And if she could have played, she probably could have been the first female player to play in the NBA because that's how good she was.
Okay. How about Rebecca Lobo? She took Connecticut to the high levels of dynasty. How you feel her legacy that she started in the 90s and the beginning of WNBA?
Well, her legacy at UConn was that she was the start of a dominating program. And that's what always she's going to be remembered for, the start of a dominating program. Now, as for the NBA, WNBA, she'll be known as the person that came in to help issue a new era in basketball for women, and she along with Teresa Witherspoon, Lisa Leslie, Tina Thompson, Cheryl Swoops. Those will be the women that took the WNBA and put it on the map, and they will always get the respect and the attention that they deserve.
Dana Taurasi, Sue Bird. Dana Taurasi has won multiple MVPs. You think her game has changed the WNBA game?
Actually, what she's done is evolved the game. She's taken the game to a different level, and what she's accomplished is that she has made the game so much fun to watch because she can dominate the game, not just score-wise. She can set her opponents up. She knows how to play great defense. She's a person that basically can do it all, and that's what makes her so special.
Maya Moore.
UConn products. Those are the women that are taking the game to a new level because they learn from the best and they continue to grow.
Brittany Griner. She's the first person besides the LA Sparks, I think Lisa Leslie, who dunk. Now she's becoming Skywalker. How you feel about that type of game being involved in the WNBA?
Well, it's exciting because now, before, women couldn't dunk until Lisa Leslie did it. But now, since Brittany Griner can do it, now we're going to start seeing a lot more women trying to dunk. Besides her, Candace Parker, there's a couple coming. But the thing is, by them being able to do that, now they're saying that this is going to make the game so much fun to watch. Because now women that no longer can just lay it up. They can dunk as well. And that's something interesting.
Do you feel this WNBA players should join the NBA?
In time, there's going to be a woman that's going to be able to play the NBA, and she's going to do well.
How long will that be?
That's a good question. Right now I can't say whether it's going to be in the next 5 to 10 years, but I do know that there is going to be a woman that's going to play in WNBA, and she's going to be really good.
You think the WNBA is gonna continue growing, or is just gonna, you don't know if the money's going through it pretty well. Is it gonna last? The attendance hasn't been that well. TV ratings is not that well. I know it's a sport for young girls to like soccer. We have they won the World Cup just recently, but do you think that that's gonna push itself to the same level of soccer?
Well, my thing is this. WNBA basketball has gotten to the point where they have gotten a lot more younger women interested in playing the game of basketball, which is something that hasn't been done in a long time. The longer they keep putting themselves out there, keep pushing the athletes out there for the young world, the more better is for the sport. Now, my only thing is, can they come up with something creative that's going to draw not only just the women, but also the men as well? If they can do that, then the game will go to a different level.
You think too that the World Women's Basketball League should merge to someday be like a World League for women? WNBA, European League, European League, Asian League. You think they should merge one day so you could see every different style of women's basketball?
Well, if that does happen, it's going to conflict with a lot of other sports, because European basketball goes from, from September till March of a year. Now that runs into hockey, runs into football, runs into men's basketball. A lot of people don't want to be trying to see women basketball when they got football, especially basketball and hockey. So the male dominants are not going to turn and say, "Oh, we're going to watch women's basketball." They're not going to do that. So they're going to have to come up with some sort of way of making it where if they're going to have a one league that's going to have to be able to compete from June, I would say really from May until September, maybe even October, if you're going to get a league like that for women. But then you're going to interfere with baseball. So I don't know. That's going to be tough. But I think if the women are very creative enough to market the game, they may surprise people.